Go save their life, buddy. God bless you. God bless you, paramedics. Hello, welcome back, and it's I'm test riding another bike today. Actually, it's the same day as I was test riding the R1. In fact, it's about half an hour later, but today, on now, I'm taking out the Kawasaki 2016 ZX6R 636. And this is the performance pack model. It's got the Akropovich on it and a few little extra little bits and bats like crash protection, such things like that. Now, again, I'm going to have to be a little quick and abrupt with this first ride, test ride, first impressions review type majiggy, because you can't beat the sound of inline 4, because once again the dealer that's letting me take this out is only giving me half an hour on it. So it's going to be another quick and dirty first ride in first impressions type of review thing. So I'm not going to get to fully explore this bike's full features, but I'll do the best I can for you. Now, what I can tell straight away is that this bike is much more comfy than the R1. Straight out the box, the riding position is much more friendly. Not so far over the front, slightly more upright position. It's actually quite a pleasant riding position, this, it's quite nice. And the second most important thing that my first impression of this bike is just how low powered it is compared to a litre bike. It's noticeably less power. So consequently you have to rev it up a bit more. And if I was doing this kind of RPM in third gear on my Tuono, I would be breaking the speed limit, but here I'm doing the speed limit. Now this is only the second 600 class bike that I've ridden in a long time. The first one was a CBR 600RR, which I rode at the Ron Haslam Race School, so that was ridden on track, so that kind of doesn't count. So this is the first 600 that I've ridden on road. Oh crikey, I'm going back 20 some years maybe. But first impressions are, it's quite nice. It's got plenty of power, don't get me wrong. This bike has more than enough power than anyone could ever need on the highway. And here I am in 6th gear, top gear at 3000 RPM, doing 30 miles per hour, and the bike is more than happy to do it. That's quite a nice thing, that, for a road bike. Because litre bikes, you know, you'd be like this trying to keep the thing going in second gear, but this is actually quite well behaved. The practicalities, the mirrors are as the Hour Sports bike, they're not perfect, but you can see a lot of what's behind you, and probably actually more so than a sort of naked bike, because and it's the same for all sports bikes I found this, because the mirrors have mounted more forward on the fairing, this extra bit of distance gives you more chance to sort of just move your head and see more of what's behind you just with a quick movement of your head. That's just a thing that all sports bikes I find, but on this one, yeah, the mirrors are okay. Now the brakes, whoa, the brakes are excellent. Bloody hell. Now this isn't much lighter than the R1, but these Nissin calipers have got so much initial bite. But absolutely, they feel really nice. I actually prefer them to the R1's brakes. Now I've got the bike in full power mode. It does have a low power mode, and it does have traction control. I've got it in number 2, whatever that means. But I don't think I'll be needing to test the traction control today somehow, especially not when I'm stuck behind bin lorries or garbage trucks, as you might call them in other countries. We need to get past them because we're burning up time and road here that I should be using to enjoy this ride. I am quite enjoying this. It's alright. Yeah, the brakes are excellent. And it's got the Showa big piston forks. I think they're the big piston forks. I think they are. It's got a BP on it, which I'm sure stands for a big piston. So it feels nice and smooth. It's dealing with the lumpy bumpy roads of Rochdale in the northwest of the UK with aplomb. I'd like to know what the MPG is on this. I wonder if it has it on the... No, nothing changes while I'm moving. Oh right, so you've got all buttons here. We'll have a look at that later. As we are on a time budget, I need to get rid of this bloody bin truck. It's ruining my fun. But initially, and I've been riding it now 15 minutes, the position is so much more comfy than the last bike I tested, the R1. I can actually feel like I could probably ride this for a longer time, a much longer time. There's no pressure on my back whatsoever. You've got pressure on your hands, but it's a sports bike, you're going to get that. It's one of those things. It's rolling on Bridgestone Battle Axe S20s, I think, which I don't know anything about. I think the tyres I used at the Ron Haslam Race School were S30, so I don't know what the difference is in Battle Axe. They're not a tyre that I use. I tend to stick to ones that I know and like Race Techs and Pirelli Supercoursers, things of that nature. Although I do like the way, with the less power, that you can ride it so much easier. I mean, it's going to be a fly-by-wire throttle, this, but the fueling seems really nice. I'm getting or certainly none that I can discern, surging or hunting, and it's absolutely velvet smooth. But I've heard that about Kawasaki's. The last Kawasaki I had wasn't, but that was a 1981 Z750, and I had that about 20 years ago. But this inline 4 636 is absolutely smooth as anything. And I am a big fan of that inline 4 engine noise, only because it's kind of the bikes that I grew up on, you know. But I do like it. And the more, you know, initially the lack of power kind of like, it kind of like, this is a bit rubbish, but once you're used to it, it's fine. The seat's nice and roomy. You can push your backside right back into this heat hump. It actually feels very similar in size, shape and feel to the R1 seat. It even has a little kick up just as you put your backside into the seat hump. So backside into the seat hump, drop your elbows, and this is a full-on sports bike. Noticeably less power. I'm not sure if I can do without that power, really. I've kind of got used to it. I've got used to that instant sort of blast of mid-range power, which this just does not have compared to a litre bike. But I do like these brakes though. I know everything's all about the Brembo these days, but Seriously, these Nissan calipers have got more than enough braking power. With regards to the actual engine power, I think it would just be a case of getting back used to a lower powered bike again. All this bike's main power is going to come up at like about 13,000 RPM. It just sounds like you're revving it a hell of a lot compared to what I'm used to. It's just been such a long time that I've ridden a bike that you can ride around in top gear at low speed. And this will do it, which I imagine would translate to good gas mileage if you ride it sensibly. I mean, you know, 30 miles an hour, 2,500 revs, 6 gear. It's not jumping or juddering at all. My 2.0 would be all over the road at this point. It feels nice and planted in these sharp corners. Again, I don't think it would take me very long to get my knee off on this thing, or to get my knee down. Getting your knee off is probably something completely different. It just feels very nimble, I must say. I like that. I've heard the word nimbility. Not a bit wide, just noticed a bit of gravel right on the line there. Yeah, I've heard this word used before, and I don't think it's an exact word that exists. Nimbility. To describe a quantity of nimbleness that a bike has. And this bike has tons of nimbility. It feels nimble. I'd have to try it against the Triumph Daytona just to see if there is even more nimbility on that machine than this one. So, my first impressions of this 2016 Kawasaki ZX6R, or ZX6R if you're of the transatlantic persuasion. And my first impressions are smooth. Yeah, this little inline 4 engine is as smooth as I like it. Obviously down a little bit on power from what I'm used to, but that's to be expected, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. The seating position's ergonomically comfortable for a sports bike with clip-on handlebars. The brakes are excellent. It's easy to ride. It's very nimble. Feels very lightweight, even though it's got a full tank of gas. Mirrors are good to use, all the normal switches are in good positions. Yeah, it's got a nice standard Bogo mechanical tachograph, even though it's probably actually electric, but you know, it's got the old sweepy hand, and a very easy to read LCD screen for all the other bits of information. To change various modes, I think. Oh, I see. Oh yeah, so it's up for power, down for traction control. Right, got you. But yeah, it's a nice, smooth, nimble little bike with good brakes, good comfort, and a pretty good price tag at for this. The performance model comes in at about £10,500. So yeah. Well, that's about all the time I have, unfortunately, on this little Kawasaki, which is very nice. So, well, thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful to some people. If not, what can I say? But from now, from me, Veefour, as always, keep it shiny side up, folks, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.